And we are live. What's up, everyone?
Hello, everybody.
Happy Friday. Welcome to the My Amazon Guy Weekly Friday Q&A, where you can join myself and an esteemed colleague. Today we have Kristen Lasch. We're here to answer any and all of your Amazon questions, Seller Central questions. Maybe you're having issues with support. Maybe you need help launching a new product and you're looking for best practices to get that product selling quickly. Maybe you're ready to capitalize on the biggest Q4 that you can this year and you need some strategies there. Well, today, Kristen and I have you covered. Kristen.
Hopefully.
What's up?
I'm excited to be on. I haven't done the Ask Me Anything in a while. I just did the PPC one with Marissa last week. And I'm excited to be here with Tom. Tom is a friend of mine. He was just at my wedding. We've met.
Yeah, Lasch, we shouted you out, Faith and I, a couple weeks ago after your wedding. Beautiful event. It was awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. Excited to be here.
Okay, well, I think we are gonna go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at maybe any good mornings, some nice, happy, welcoming messages. Touchstone, welcome back. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lasch, we got a little bit of a special message here. Let's take a look at this one.
I know, Dylan. I'm happy you're on. Hope you're doing well also. And that new little baby, so cute. Want to see more kids. Congratulations again. Awesome. And thank you for saying I'm amazing on these. I don't do them often. I always get nervous. So appreciate it. In terms of the sponsored TV announced at Unbox, I actually met with an Amazon rep the other day to find out a little bit more about these because I was intrigued. One of our clients was interested in using them, and I didn't have a whole lot of info. So far, still don't have a lot of info on how well they're going to work, but I'm really, really excited to see the trajectory of these. I think it's also important, like if you are able to use them, get in early, like that's where we see a lot of success is when people try things out early. You definitely want to be careful where you're putting your money, make sure your product's appropriate, make sure you've got the quality videos, etc. But I'm excited to see the success. I just know that there's not as much data yet to show, how this really improves conversion and if it's actually working, but I don't doubt that it will.
Awesome. Yeah. So team, this is all so very new, very beta, right? Announced and unboxed. Specifically with my work with client accounts, I am not seeing too much early access here. I think we have some people who are, but from what I've seen, everyone, it's more going to be like a 2024 type thing. So stay tuned, check your accounts. If you partner with a Amazon rep, right, when you can partner with a rep with a new account within 1 year of selling, essentially, you can maybe have some extra leeway to kind of maybe get into this beta program. But I know there's pretty high thresholds for like minimum spend from what I've heard, Kristen, right?
Like it's like 50K over 90 days.
Yeah.
And you definitely want to make sure your product is appropriate for it. You do not want to dive in and spend all that money if it's not. And you also have to have, a minimum threshold of ad spend in general. But I do know one of my clients is going to be doing it. So I'm excited to see results and hopefully share some more information on if it's working for us and make sure that you guys are, as prepared as possible if it's offered to you to make the call on whether you want to use it or not.
Perfect. Awesome. Who do we got here? Jason. Jason was on with me last week and we'll miss him this week, but what's up, Jason? Thanks for checking in on us.
We love you, Jason.
And then Touchstone, congrats, Kristen.
Thank you. It was beautiful.
Awesome, gang. Well, we're gonna go ahead like usual and get started with some member questions. Let's see what we got here. Asos, what's up, man? If I have a hijacker in another marketplace, how can I take them down? So, okay. Amazon is not in the business of policing your third-party relationships or your vendors that you possibly sell for. They are not going to be the ones unless there's potentially maybe a counterfeit situation going on. They're not going to be the ones to do much action there. So what I would recommend here, if you are seeing other sellers who may not be authorized to sell your products, doesn't matter the marketplace, you can do a test buy. And then from there, if it is a counterfeit and you get the product back, it's maybe not using your barcode, maybe it's just straight up a counterfeit. That's where you're going to be able to go inside a brand registry and report them. Other than that, it's very, very difficult to pull these people off if maybe they had just bought, who knows, 20, 30 units when you guys were on sale and they come in and try to resell, maybe making pennies on the dollar that you're making. If it's your product, Amazon won't do too much about that. Yeah, I don't know. Lasch, anything else to add to that?
No, definitely ticket if you feel it's warranted. You can try all your options. And we do see success getting them down, but it can be tough. It's not always the easiest process, but like Tom said, definitely do a test buy. Definitely see if it's actually your product or not, because that's the quickest way to say they're selling something counterfeit. This is not my product. Yeah. Like, you need to take them down.
And the only thing I wanted to add there is there's almost so much more merit when you report from like the customer side as a seller, right? So you do that test buy just on like your normal Amazon account. They ship it to you and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't the product that I'm selling. It's a counterfeit, right? Amazon takes that seriously, obviously, with being solely focused on the customer experience, 100%. Yeah. Let's go to your part 2 question here. Love this because this is something we are constantly pushing and rinsing and repeating on accounts that we are working with. How the abandoned cart promotion appears to customers, brand tailored promotions. Lasch, you want to touch on that while I do some screen sharing here?
I was going to say, if you have a screen share, that would be helpful so we can see it.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard to actually like pull up an example of the brand cart abandonment, just as I'm logged into Stephen Pope's account and I haven't added any products in the last 90 days. But let me share my screen. I kind of want to use this opportunity to walk through brand tailored promotions. And
you're so successful, by the way. I don't have, and it's very little overhead usually, as long as you don't have like insanely small margins and whatnot. We're seeing a lot of great conversion here. Like, I definitely recommend running them, testing them out, and seeing if they work, especially after big shopping events, like with high traffic and people might have put your product in their cart and forgotten about it. You're going to have a much larger audience to target and hopefully convert after these events. So it's really important to be using them if you have the ability to do so.
Perfect. Yeah. And so everyone, this really just appears on, and again, it's going to be hard for me to find an example, but really this just appears on your product detail page as any other normal promotion. If you're doing like that minimum 10%, it'll show that / it'll show that 10%, but you're almost not even going to know as a customer that you cart abandoned there from what I've seen in examples here. And I want to use this time to kind of retouch on brand tailored promotions in general. So very new thing in Amazon within the last, we'll say 3 to 4 months, we started seeing these kind of fully take over and populate on client accounts. And the biggest thing here is Amazon is finally giving us audience data, and we're seeing this riddled throughout new places, right? Different audience buckets, maybe inside of sponsored display, also inside of that new customer loyalty page, which is tucked inside of brand analytics. We took a look at that last week. So Amazon is really focusing in on these audience data segments, these audience buckets, and giving sellers that data to maybe incentivize further conversions, right? So what we see here is some awesome audiences where you can go after, we'll stick with the cart abandoners example, people who have added your brand products to their cart in the last 90 days, but who have not purchased. That is a great way to pull people back inside of the funnel, right? And then you have maybe some more top of funnel audiences, something like potential new customers, people who have clicked on your brand, engaged with your listings or your content. Maybe they never even added to cart. Maybe all they did is kind of click through, look at the listing and move on. And typically what we see here is we've seen the most value from brand cart abandoners in terms of return when you run these, as well as potential new customers. And that's mainly because they have the highest audience data, the largest audience count, essentially, compared to all of these other audiences, right? So there's tons of stuff you can do here at risk, high spending customers. We've seen the most benefit from the brand card abandoners. And really, like I said, that's only just going to show up as kind of like a normal promotion on your product detail page. You should see that badge, but it's not going to look any different than a normal promotion from what I've seen.
And you want to pair these with like a retargeting campaign. Make sure that people are seeing them again. You don't want to just put them on and then let them kind of sit in the wind. I mean, we have still seen success doing that, but it's not going to get the increased volume that we really, really want to see from these. So Tom's pulling up some examples kind of here, but
yeah. So it's one of those things, everyone, where let's go back to our brand tailored promotions. This is just the incentivization factor, right? This isn't driving. Some people were thinking that these were like email campaigns, and that's more along the lines of the manager customer engagement email campaigns, the MYCE campaigns. This is only the incentivization component. So where we've been providing extra strategy is trying to find the traffic component. And like Lasch mentioned, that is going to be through some audience targeting inside of sponsored display campaigns on Amazon, off Amazon advertising, where you can actually couple these. Maybe you're launching a cart abandonment or a potential new customers. Those pair extremely well with views remarketing and maybe even purchases remarketing, right? Because you're pulling in, like, this is the traffic component. You are targeting and pulling back in those people who left the funnel, who didn't convert. And that's where views remarketing really comes into play here. So great questions here. And I love talking about brand tailored promotions because there's always so much going on there.
There's so much new customer acquisition that we can utilize and, you know, create loyal brand followers then. So it's important to use it, you know, have that margin to at least do that 10% minimum discount. But you'll see a lot of return on this from what I'm seeing. And it's not as much overhead. So we are loving them here right now.
Yep. Yeah. And okay, we'll move on. We spent a lot of time there. I was going to show some of the metrics, but brand card abandonment, potential new customers, you'll typically get the highest return with those audience segments. Let's go a couple more member questions to run through. Touchstone, for an application to resell another brand, Amazon is asking either for an invoice, from the manufacturer, that makes sense, or a LOA, letter of authorization. Which is better to get approval? Other advice. Our account has been used only for consulting, not selling. Typically, in my experience, Touchstone LOA is going to be the simplest path here. That letter of authorization from the brand. You can submit that. You're going to get sidelined. And we ran through this last week with Jason. We were creating like a mock product, for example. And when we entered in a brand name, that's where we kind of got locked before we could even submit the product, doing the manual route for creating a new product. And that's where you can upload your LOA once you have that from the brand. But again, that's going to be the easiest step here. That's typically what gets through fastest and easiest in my experience.
Agreed.
Awesome. Simple. Let's see. Stephen J. Are you reimbursed FBA fees on customer returned orders?
Don't believe so. I don't want to say that for sure, but the FBA fees are there because Amazon's doing the work, to ship, etc., warehouse. So I don't.
I don't think they do either, right? Because like customer returns that, and it could be for one of many reasons. And yes, like you're paying for the FBA service because Amazon had pick, pack, and shipped that. Maybe they're sending a replacement. Like maybe Amazon did do some damaging. Maybe it depends on the reason, because if Amazon damaged it, that's where they would fully cover everything and there wouldn't be that issue. But they are still doing the pick, pack, and shipping process. So I
don't know that all of them would be. I would definitely need to dive into that. That's a good question. But if it's like a faulty product issue, anything that was on the seller or the actual product, likely that they're not going to get refunded just because that's not Amazon's fault necessarily. They're not going to take ownership of that. It's like you as a seller, if you were selling from your own personal website, and you, like ship the product or whatever, and, you're not going to get any sort of refund for any of the shipping fees or anything. You're still out that money because you put that legwork in, you had to pay for that. So Amazon is likely going to hold you to that I don't want to say that for 100% because I haven't dove deep into that.
Well, and there is that returns processing fee.
Mhm.
So a returns processing fee that's charged for orders which Amazon offers free return shipping, which comes into play here as well.
Right.
I wanted to double check that and look through some
Thank you, Tom, for
some help pages. Yeah, no problem. It's always a random one like that where like, oh man, let me just
I know now I'm like stuck.
double check that.
But it's a great question.
Yeah, it is a great question. So, Jeffrey, welcome back. For a single supplement product with good sales, what level of session CVR, conversion rate, and PPC should be achieved before considering DSP? And would retargeting on DSP be a good place to start? So, Jeff, that's kind of a hard question to answer because DSP, you either have to work with a provider who can offer that service, or you have to meet a very hefty minimum spend threshold on that as well. Not everyone can do DSP. Last I heard, you have to meet those requirements, and then at that point, it's sort of like invite only, or you work with one of Amazon's partnered agencies where they can offer that. Right. So maybe you might be leaning more towards sponsored display where you can still do some of that views remarketing, retargeting, and purchases retargeting. And if that's the case, that's completely separate from DSP. Right. But Jeff, yeah, you'd either have to be with one of those providers or meet those spend thresholds and those requirements to even be applicable for DSP. I don't think I missed anything there. I think that covers it. Awesome. Is it without, I would assume against TOS terms of service to add available at Nordstrom's in an image or the listing? Katie, Kristen, I'll let you take this.
Yeah, no, we cannot. Anything that might direct the customer off of Amazon is an absolute no-no. Amazon will not allow it. That's just, they're never going to let you do that, unfortunately. We've seen success if you're trying to say something like seen in this publication or something like that, but we can't direct them to another store.
Yeah, perfect. And we actually, man, we got tons of questions flowing through. So I'm going to scroll back to the top. Members, we'll take another break here. Not break, but give us 30 minutes. Let's get back to the top and make sure we can go top down, and we'll get back to some more member questions and make sure we go through those as well. Awesome. Jawaria, how are you? Hello. I want to ask a question that I have a keyword in an auto campaign, coin purse. Now I am running this keyword in phrase match also. So whether I should turn off from auto and then start new campaign. So you can't specifically just turn off a specific target from auto, right? Because that's what the auto campaign does. It's it's essentially scraping your listing and trying to show up on different searches, maybe different product detail pages based on their algorithm. It's not a specific targeting thing you can control there other than the bids within those different buckets of an auto campaign. We can look at that here in a second. But there is one thing you could do here to make sure when you find that search term and this is essentially like the best practice or strategy of keyword promotion, right? So this is why auto campaigns are so beneficial. You are mining the customer search terms within that auto campaign. You are looking at the KPIs there, sales, ACOS, and just generally seeing like how many clicks did it take to get a certain sale. And if it's a profitable term for you, and if it's something you want to keep targeting and something you're not targeting in an outside campaign, that's where you can promote it to something like phrase or exact match, right? And when you do that, a lot of times you really do want to consider negating that keyword, because what's going to happen then, right? You are negating that keyword and that auto campaign is going to start mining new targets. So that's the whole methodology there with keyword promotion inside of an auto campaign. And we can take a second here to maybe pull up a auto campaign example in Age of Sage here and show you where you can actually find those customer search terms, so you can see what's coming through, and we can quickly show you how to negate that as well. Lasch, while I'm pulling this up, anything to add on to that?
No, I mean, I think you're kind of spot on here. It's definitely about negating and moving it to the campaign that will give it the most light. That's what we want to do. If it's converting for us, we want to make sure that it's we're giving it its own budget and that we're not like letting it run out of budget. If it's a successful keyword in another campaign where it's being flooded with other, Sorry, other keywords. I'm
No,
stuck
you're
in
good.
my words right now, but we want to give it its own like showcase and its own platform to have its own budget and really be successful, where we can control ACoS a little bit more in our bidding.
Yeah, perfect. And these are those 4 automatic targeting options you have: loose match, substitutes, close match, and complements, right? And when you are, a lot of people I see will just turn on an auto campaign. Maybe they'll adjust some bids and they just kind of let it do its thing. But like, again, you want to use these to find those search terms you can promote, and then also make sure you're negating those, right? So inside of your auto campaign, inside of the ad group, that's where you can start looking at product detail pages that Amazon is showing your ad on. And let's just do a quick filter here actually by sales. This is a relatively new campaign and we're in a short date range. So why don't we go something like last 30 days and we can kind of see how to utilize this a little better. Perfect, right? So something like Halloween coffee tumbler. We see that we got 2 clicks from that. It generated an order. $30, 3.57% ACoS. Maybe that's something you want to pull over in an exact match or a phrase match, and that's where you can start a new campaign. And with that, you can negate that target inside of your auto campaign, so it won't essentially cannibalize itself is the whole thought process there. Perfect. Ooh, and I didn't even see you had a 2-parter here. Or should I not turn off the auto campaign? But I had confusion that if I negate my main keyword coin purse, then there will be relevancy issue. Amazon algorithm will think that I am not relevant. Typically, I don't see that. I think you're going to be fine. And I would follow that practice of negate it, promote it to something like exact or phrase match. And that's where you're going to have better control of that specific bid. And that's where you can really fine tune how hard you want to push your bid on that keyword. Again, maybe trying to go more for high impressions and seeing what comes through, a more high bid compared to the suggested bid, so that you get those impressions, see how it comes through. Or maybe it's a little bit high on ACoS and you need to trim that bid down. But I would still negate it. I would promote that, in my opinion.
It's where you're going to make it the most efficient.
Yeah.
That's what we want to make sure you're putting your ad dollars to use in the most efficient way. So this is the way to do it.
Yeah, and you know, it's a hard thing here. The last thing I'll say here before we move on is because, like, yeah, when you negate that, your auto campaign won't be targeting that anymore. And if it was driving a good amount of sales and being profitable there, that is something you'll be losing. You might see a change in performance on your auto campaign. And that's okay, right? Ideally here with that practice, you're still utilizing that exact match or phrase match targeting when you promote that keyword, and that's where it needs to pick up the pace, and that's where you have more control. So you don't want to do it on every keyword, right? You still want to use that auto campaign to kind of mine your listing and test in their algorithm what is converting and what isn't converting. But that's really the best practice. I would go with that one. Deep in ads today, Lasch. Deep in ads. Awesome. So Thai Burger Golf. Been away from Amazon for a while. Any news or data on how many keywords you should or should not have in exact match campaigns? Example, I have a campaign with 124 keywords. Is that considered bad practice? Well, luckily we're in the ads console here. Lasch, you got any thoughts there?
That's a lot. I would probably reduce it and segment it further. Kind of group those keywords into smaller groups so you can control that spend a little bit more. Again, it's all about being efficient, like we mentioned before. So if you've got that many keywords in the campaign, like how are we giving them all enough light, etc. So I would maybe not do 124. I would maybe segment them further.
Yeah, Ty, you lose a lot of control there. Because what's going to happen when and I just wanted to find like a random exact match campaign, and let's stick with our Halloween theme here with Halloween tumblers.
Spooky season.
Love it. Oh, we only have 10 targets here. And that is intentional and that is purposeful, right? And the reason being is that when it really comes down to cannibalization, right? Because if you have 124 targets, for example, like I would bet Amazon's budget that it's recommending is like $300 plus. You're essentially not allowing these keywords to have their fair share in the market. Mm-hmm. Even with a campaign like this, our best practice here, 10 to 15 keywords max in any type of campaign, right? When you're doing keyword targeting or even like competitor ASIN targeting, because you want each of those targets. First off, you have better control because you can manage those bids effectively, manage those targets effectively, see what's working, what's not working, just a lot easier. But you're also not going to cannibalize yourself within that campaign, because what you will see with that tie is maybe 5 to 10 keywords eat up 90% of that budget. And it's almost like, most of those other targets don't even get their fair shot in the market. That's typically what I see in terms of a bad practice with that many keywords. Lots of segmentation needed there on that campaign. 10 to 15 max is where I want to
you'll be able to see some of the ones that aren't getting the light that they should, to see if they're actually working or not, and control it a little bit more.
Exactly. Ty, let's keep rolling with yours. We're deep in ads today, and I love it. If you have 5 variations and have 5 separate campaigns for each, if your blue product gets a click on a keyword, but then the customer buys the red one, would the blue be considered a click and no sale? So that's not true.
I just saw this actually on a variation with a client where we were looking at the targets and we were like, why is it the cost per click cost per acquisition so high on this one variation? And we realized that it was actually that ASIN was not getting the purchases. A different larger quantity variation was getting the purchases. So that one was doing amazingly. And once we showed that to the client, because they were like, what's going on here? Obviously very concerned at the performance on that one. But it was actually just being attributed to the other product and just not that one. So it was actually they did pay for that click on the other ASIN, but they were converting on that separate variation. So we did see the data reflect like that. Yes.
Yeah, and this kind of comes back, Ty, with Amazon's like last click attribution. So what I see in accounts and where I've kind of seen this come in play with clients I've worked with is, let's say we're looking at Stephen Pope's listing right here, Age of Sage. Let's say you are targeting ads on only this variation, only this child ASIN within this parent variation. The price is $19.99. Well, this product would show up in the ads and the search results. They would click it. Let's say through this, though, they want to go back and they're like, oh, well, this one's priced a little lower and I like these scents or these flavors better. Did that price just change on me? Oh, no, $17.99. It looks like it's for subscribe and save. Okay. My point is sometimes you'll see that price difference in your sales as it's attributed, right? So maybe something that's $19.99, $20 that you are targeting, maybe within that parentage, you have a lower priced item, and you would see that sale come back on that ad campaign as that lower priced item. So maybe you are only pushing ads on one specific ASIN, one specific child ASIN within a parentage, but it's going to attribute that sale of the product inside of that campaign where that click came from. That's what I see in ads accounts with this. Yep. Good places to source besides Alibaba. Ty, I'm not too sure there. I don't do a lot of product sourcing. Sheesh.
Make sure that you get some test products first.
Yeah.
I don't do a ton of product sourcing either. I have used Alibaba for some things before, and you definitely want to test the quality if you're going to be using them. But no, I do not have a specific source for sourcing.
Let's go to Health Lantern. Hi, yesterday I tried to change, let's get off of my screen here. Actually, no, this looks like we're going to need it. Yesterday I tried to change titles, descriptions, and bullet points in an already listed variation listing. There were 6 variations, and when I updated the 6th one, it was missing. What could be the reason there? So 6 variations, you updated the 6th one, and it was missing. That could be quite a few different things, actually. I could pull up some stuff in the back end that I want to show. Lasch, do you want to add anything to that kind of while I'm...
No, I guess I would need to see the specific situation, I guess, to really be able to advise.
Yeah, and that's kind of because like Health Lantern, this really could be 10 different things. It could be an issue of sticking, right? And we deal with this all the time. Our team deal with this all the time. So,
yeah.
You would think on Amazon, everyone, that something as simple as changing your title, changing your bullet, adding in a certain keyword inside of a title or bullet point would be so simple, and you own the products, your brand registered, and you just click submit, and sometimes Amazon just won't take your submission. And there's a bunch of different reasons for that. A lot of times some fields end up being like essentially locked in the back end, especially when you've used Amazon in the past to change a certain attribute if you were already facing this issue. So Health Lantern, my bet would be that this comes down to an issue of not sticking. And I wanted to kind of just randomly click into a back end of a listing. How you can confirm this on your child ASIN that you were talking about is going inside of the listing, go to product details. Oh, and it actually doesn't show it here on the bullets. That's fine. This is the example I want to show. So, and you still will see this with your title. Yeah, let's look at the title here, for example. So your custom value here, the one I could sit here and edit, this is what you had submitted for your title, whether you're doing a manual update right here or a flat file update. And then this is what Amazon is taking. And sometimes you will see differences there where you build out your title, you optimize it with keywords, and Amazon is still using your old title. And it's not changing after you've submitted manually, after you've submitted through a flat file upload. That is the case with certain attributes in the back end not sticking. Two ways you can solve that. Try doing a full update on a flat file. And if that doesn't work and you go to seller support, Amazon's going to say you need to delete the listing for 24 hours and then relist it. And what that does, and maybe 50% of the time it works, and that's when you got to go back to support. But what that does is clear the back-end ASIN data, right? It's going to clear those attributes. So when you resubmit, again, using the same SKU, all the same data, you can pull your category listings report to maintain that data before you delete it. But with that being said, when you do that delete and relist, you should be able to get your attributes you want sticking. If it doesn't, you got to go to support. I know that's like a long process workflow, but that is typically where that comes from.
And I'm not sure if it was the copy that wasn't sticking or if based on the question, if it got kicked out of the parentage or whatnot. Again, I would want to know. I'm just rereading it and I'm like, was it the copy that wasn't there or was the listing not there? Would need a little more info, but if it's just the copy, like Tom mentioned, that's exactly what you need to do is usually a full update or a delete and relist. That's what seller support is going to suggest if you reach out to them before doing those items. So I would try those first and foremost, probably before reaching out to support, because you're going to get that answer.
Yeah, Health Lantern, apologies if I misunderstood your question. If it's,
I might have read it wrong, but
no, I see the confusion there. If it is a certain child ASIN that was kicked out, yeah, that happens from time to time. Amazon can just do that, and maybe it wasn't even your fault, right? And we see that like literally every day in accounts. So you can use the variation wizard to tie that SKU and that child ASIN back in. Or again, use a flat file upload. We have tons of videos on doing parentages on our YouTube page. If you need some additional support there, great walkthroughs by Jason on that.
Definitely.
Okay. Hi, Misha. I do Amazon FBA and I have some influencers interested to promote my products with affiliate marketing. How do I set up an affiliate program for them? I'd appreciate step-by-step tutorials. Thank you so much.
Attribution links.
Yeah, so there's going to be a couple different ways you could take this, Misha. Amazon has their own program, Amazon Associates, Amazon Affiliates, where you can kind of partner with these people. And with that, I mean, the newest program here that's allowing for this is, which we don't have on this account, but Faith and I had. What a miss. I can't believe we don't have creator connections. So, Misha, one thing that Amazon has started doing here, if you're trying to do this natively inside of Amazon, is going to be Amazon Creator Connections. This is Amazon allowing sellers to partner with creators. And what those creators will do is you give them a brief, you give them a set commission rate, minimum 10% from what I've seen inside of the console. And they're going to make a post for you, right? So it's not them receiving a product, which is kind of the miss here in my opinion. So you have to write that like really detailed brief for the product you want them to promote, attributes and benefits you want them to highlight in their post. And the more high detail you are in there, the better the post will be, I would assume. Very new program that started popping up maybe about a month ago. But again, they'll utilize their social channels. Maybe they're affiliated with other websites or blogs or forums, whatever. and they'll make those posts. They'll link your product, and that is how you can do that natively inside of Amazon. Now, aside from that, you want to take a stab, Lasch, at I'll pull up attribution, but this is the best way to track when you're doing off Amazon marketing, driving traffic to Amazon.
Yeah. So we can create, your own attribution links to give to each one of these influencers so that you can specifically see kind of who's driving the most sales for you. It's really insightful, and it will help you kind of organize your data. I'll let Tom kind of pull up and create one here a little bit. But we see a lot of team members do this, especially if you're also just like marketing on Facebook or Instagram or something. You can label them specifically for each one, and then, track your data from there. But I definitely suggest doing that so that you know what's happening and who's really pushing your product the most. And then you can invest more into that platform or person, etc.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, Lasch. And it is important on picking the right publisher and channel here, because it's what Amazon attribution is going to do. You add your products that your influencers or off Amazon marketing is pushing. That's how the sales get tracked. You have to add the products you want sales to be tracked with. And you're going to designate where that traffic is coming from. And this is important. This can't be overlooked, because it's all dependent on how these different websites like Facebook, like Google Ads, like Instagram, like TikTok, how they pass over the cookies in that tracking. And cookies, I mean that long, for those who have done attribution, when you submit this and I say, we're going to go to this product detail page, let's pull that, let's go back here, you enter that in, you submit all of this, it's going to give you a massively long link that your influencer or your marketer, whoever, will use on those platforms. And that's how the cookies are tracked appropriately. So you do need to make sure your publisher is pretty clean here, and you're designating the right platforms for the right links and using those appropriately. And that's going to allow you to track better in attribution. And with attribution, there's one main big benefit that some people sometimes forget, and that is going to be the brand referral bonus. Amazon will give you 10% back on your total sale price, credited towards your Amazon fees. So you get a little bonus for that. Amazon likes when you're taking someone who's not even in the funnel on Amazon and pulling them back in and getting them on the website and converting.
They want you to drive external traffic to them, so they will they'll help you out there.
Ooh, I love the TikTok.
Tom, I'll let you take this.
Sip of coffee real quick.
Yeah, right. He's like, let me get started.
Okay, so Misha, I've been kind of heavily pushing TikTok, and we actually have started. It's early. We are building some TikTok services that we can provide here. Very, very close to launching that. With that being said, Misha, big proponent on this. So your specific question, please share your thoughts on TikTok affiliate program. How can Amazon sellers use this new feature to benefit from it? So full transparency, I haven't had too much experience with the specific affiliate program. I do know through my work on TikTok Shop, and I assume that's what you're referencing, Misha, TikTok has their own affiliate program where you can find those creators, gift them a unit, which is the difference between creator connections here on Amazon. And they will, they'll make a video and a post about it. And if you're doing this on TikTok Shop, you would get that that sale on TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop is TikTok's direct competition to Seller Central here. It is their own in-app e-commerce shopping experience. So the old ways of how I teed this up of like driving traffic from TikTok to Amazon are starting to change, because now TikTok is allowing people to buy directly in their app. You can sell directly on TikTok. Very beta, very early. I'm seeing talks of fulfillment centers that TikTok is buying up. I think there's 2 or 3 here in the US, and they are expanding. They want to compete with Amazon, which is easier said than done, as I'm sure you would agree, Lasch. So one of the things I do want to end here on this question, Misha, is you should 100% do TikTok ads driving traffic to Amazon. And that's going to That's going to do quite a few things. So first off, when you do that, you will see product level KPIs increase. What you will also see, and I'm going to go to handy dandy helium-10 here. We're going to do a reverse, magnet keyword research on Stephen Pope's brand name, Age of Sage. And the reason I'm going to show this is because we did some TikTok ads a couple months ago. And I want to show you a very interesting data point that we actually had pop up, not something that I expected. So what we had done with TikTok is we got a product inside of an influencer's or an affiliate's hand. They made a video, and we used that video to run ads to our Amazon listings, right? Track through attribution as well. With that being said, what we didn't expect was, any minute now, awesome. What we didn't expect was a 3x increase in brand search here, brand name search, Age of Sage. I don't even got to tell you when we decided to kick on these TikTok ads. The data is there. So what had happened and what we had noticed was that people saw the video, they saw the ad, they saw our product and our brand name of Age of Sage, and they left the TikTok app and they searched it on Amazon. Very interesting to see, even though we were providing a direct link. And there was sort of like a bit of a halo effect here where this, we didn't keep that trend forever. Still a decent increase, and we have kind of slowed down here and trying to push different products. So our strategy has slightly changed here, but very interesting to see this spike. Big proponent of this, Misha. Anything you can do on TikTok driving traffic to Amazon, do it. And the attribution comes in play with that. I'm really close to TikTok here, Misha, if you couldn't tell.
Tom got a little excited about that one. And
I love it.
It is exciting. It's a great platform. It's huge. It's got a massive community. So you want to be on it. You want to be pushing your products on there.
And just to kind of tee up what sellers are starting to do here now. And I've seen some success stories online of people like selling more than they did on Amazon. Just to kind of show you some different ways TikTok is trying to stand out from Amazon here is live shopping experience, having a product catalog, a shop page, a shop tab. Yes. Okay. I heard about this rumblings of this months ago. They just added this to this page. There was only 3 forms of like purchasing power here. The shop tab is new. So that's how heavily focused they are. Right. And I am not a TikToker. I'm a marketer at heart. Right. So I see the benefit here, but I'm not someone who just scrolls them. Not my social media platform, so to speak. But what I do know is that shop tab is new, and they are pushing that intentionally. They want to compete with Amazon. Can they? Stay tuned. Probably a bigger question for next year. But you could be an early seller and try to make some early headway here, selling your product on TikTok Shop. Okay. Whew. Awesome. Let's keep going. Making sure we didn't skip any member questions along the way. Oh, interesting, Jeffrey. Okay. Is there a way to obtain path to purchase data through Amazon Marketing Cloud on your regular sponsored ads without using DSP? I am not familiar with Amazon Marketing Cloud.
I'm not either, so.
Let's do a quick search. See what it is.
There, Jeffrey.
As much as we try to educate and teach all of you, I never leave one of these podcasts without learning something new myself. True. And that just shows the ecosystem of Amazon.
Yeah, it's impossible to know everything. We do our best at my Amazon guy, but we're constantly learning, and that's our biggest point of the agency is learning, sharing that knowledge. So we appreciate anyone who brings up something maybe we haven't dove into before.
Yeah, so this just looks like an extra layer of tracking. Interesting. So I would believe that this is more for sponsored display, just kind of roughly seeing this. And apologies, Jeff. This is kind of my first time hopping on here and seeing what Amazon's trying to do here. Yeah, okay. Cloud-based solution, analytics, build audiences. To answer your question, regular sponsored ads. Sorry, Jeff. I can't say. I have never used this platform. I know you don't really get that customer journey inside of obviously the ads console. Mm-hmm. Maybe you have a rep here. Maybe you can open a case. That's about as deep as I can go there, Jeff, and I'm sorry.
We'll definitely be researching this one, Jeff, and we'll hopefully have more answers next time.
All right, let's see if we can pull up a quick ASIN here. You want to read that for me, Lasch, while I'm...
Some listings, for example, I'm not going to read the whole ASIN, but you can copy and paste, have bullet points with bolded headings. How is this done?
Yeah, I've seen this. No, well, not this one.
It used to be, there used to be like what HTML behind it, and you could kind of code into it, and I think that they've strayed away from that more. I'm not seeing.
I think people used to be able to get away with this from flat files. Like it's the same way people put emojis in there, right? And I know Amazon has been a little more strict here, and maybe Touchstone, unless I entered in your ASIN wrong, the NBAC4. Nope. Looks like Amazon maybe got a hold of this one and
yeah, right.
As well, or maybe it's just a different variation here, but point is that it's technically not like TOS friendly to do that, even emojis, and you'll see everyone do it. I can't say I've seen Amazon like take someone down for an emoji, so you're gonna be okay there in most cases, unless they start to change things here in the next couple months. But point is I know, so the HTML stuff, Lasch, that used to be like how you would design your product description before even like if you weren't brand registered and had a plus
page breaks like, and things like that.
Yeah, I remember using like the bold and the breaks and formatting your product description to make it a little more cleaner, legible, so it wasn't just like a fat paragraph. No, so I think it comes from a flat file, and I think Amazon tries to catch that and doesn't allow you to do that. So Touchstone, you might not have a ton of control there, just for full transparency. I have seen that on listings. I still see it on listings sometimes, but it's not like
it's rare
to do in the manual bullet point change, essentially. Hi, Arva. Good to see you as well. Get off my screen share here. We have been having trouble indexing for terms that are in the search term field in the back end. The terms are relevant, but still not indexing. We can go deep here, new gen reality. We can go pretty deep here. So let's have a discussion here. In terms, yes, you could, I don't want to say stuff because you don't want to keyword stuff in the back end, right? Amazon does not warrant any additional SEO increase when you use the same keyword or same word 10 different times in your back end search terms. There's no value there. But with that being said, what is leading to the indexing here? It's conversions coming from that keyword, right? So new gen, where I would want to steer you here is organic and PPC go hand in hand. So let's say you have 5 of these terms that you are trying to rank for, and you would put them in your back end inside of your titles, bullets, maybe just the back end search terms field, keywords field. However you're going about doing that. Let's say you have those 5 keywords. You're not indexing for those. You're not ranking for those. Double check your PPC strategy there, because you need PPC to kind of help get some of those conversions from that. And you also need to make sure, at least from a product detail page standpoint, that when someone searches that term and they see your listing, it makes sense to purchase it. And I know that's like so, I don't know, high funnel, I guess is the right way to think about that, like theoretical maybe. But it's like that simple sometimes. Sometimes, man, when I onboard a new client, I'm sure Lasch here can say the same thing. When we, I don't know, what's a random vitamin gummy, for example, right? And they're trying to index for something super specific, or maybe they don't even have a term like vitamin gummy in the title, right? Like sometimes just taking a step back, aside from looking at PPC, aside from looking, let's do multivitamin gummy. Sometimes just searching the keyword and seeing what shows up goes a long way.
Yeah, it can help you determine, like, is my product the same? Am I similar to all these other products on the page, etc. But like Tom mentioned, PPC, like if you're not ranking organically for it, you're not converting for it, you need to push a little bit with PPC so that you start converting on those keywords. And then Amazon's going to start favoring you a bit more on the organic side and helping to boost you up there. But we don't want to, like, I've seen it time and time again where clients are like, oh, I've want to stop advertising on this search term. I feel like we're doing okay organically now, blah, blah, blah. We start to see it come down. You don't want to not have that PPC behind it to help boost you up a little bit more. So it is an important piece of the puzzle.
So let's find an example here, because this is what drives me crazy. Let's say you are trying to rank for women multivitamin gummy. I saw like 1,000 search volume per month on this. Pretty good keyword. I would want to be indexing for this if I was selling a women's multivitamin gummy. But this is where like something as simple as your image, something as simple as that truncated portion of your title heavily come into play. And what sometimes happens here is that we will see a listing that doesn't even have made for women, women's neutral, women's. Sometimes we will see listings that it is that product, but they don't have that. Like, it's not shown on their product packaging. It's not shown inside of that truncated title. Hard to find an example here, actually. So maybe I was cherry picking a pretty hard one.
An Amazon one.
Did we see an Amazon Basics one?
There was an Amazon Basics one. And if you scroll down a little bit more, I think. And then there was a magnesium one or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
That didn't have women's in it.
Yeah.
But they're sponsored, they're pushing.
Yeah, okay. There is a women's right there. The one
that was not the one. It was a 2-pack, I think. But either way, you want to show it if it's a very important keyword for you and it's like super relevant to your product, like the most relevant to your product. You want it on the packaging. You want it in your title. That's where it's going to move the needle the most.
Yep. And it comes down to the conversions. Check your PPC strategy on those keywords. Great question. And man, we could have taken that a ton of different ways. Yeah. Can I use Amazon B2B to sell entire cases of my product wholesale, similar to sites like, I assume like maybe Wayfair? No. No, you can. Sorry, I'm blanking there. I got to hop back in. So I was thinking of like B2B pricing and the quantity discounts. Lasch, you want to touch on that one, pulling up like the B2B platform?
Yeah, so there's definitely opportunities to push more on B2B to sell case packs and things like that. But you do need to sell it or send it in as a case for that SKU. So Amazon's picking it appropriately.
Yeah. So the big thing here is like, let's go back to my handy dandy manage inventory page. So thing I do want to touch on here with the B2B pricing before we kind of hop back in, because I think there is a way to kind of see like large quotes coming your way. B2B pricing, quantity discounts. It doesn't make sense for a lot of different product types. It really doesn't. Like, you can hop in your, let's take a quick look here. You can hop in your business reports. You can go to just your sales and traffic page. And maybe you want to look how you've done for the whole year and you want to see something specific like units ordered B2B and ordered product sales B2B. 17,000. What is that? Like less than 2.5% B2B, something like that. Less than 5%. Low margin essentially there. And apologies for my poor quick math. Point is that you capitalize on B2B when you have already decent B2B sales, and you can incentivize customers to purchase more B2B by doing something like quantity discounts. So setting up a B2B pricing and then saying, well, okay, if they buy 5 of them, we'll give them 10% off. If they buy 10 of them, we'll give them 15% off. And you can tier that out, similar to just like multi-tiered discounts in general that we like to strategize and recommend in some of our product listings we manage. But this is a good way to kind of incentivize a customer purchasing in bulk here on B2B. I did want to double check the Business Central B2B page, because I thought there was something here about... Ooh, case packs? I saw a little call out there. We're doing some learning here as we go, Brian.
Yeah.
Again, B2B isn't like a big needle mover for a lot of our clients. So I wanted to case packs.
Case pack recommendations.
Yeah, so you still need to, so this is right. You still need to build that like case pack product 100%, right? You can't just, Amazon won't take a single unit and be like, we're going to bundle this as a case. But they can't do that themselves. You need a new UPC, you need a new product, and you need to bundle that as you ship it into Amazon FBA. I'm not seeing anything here about maybe...
And bundling that is to ship in, obviously, is going to reduce fees for you in general too. Because if you're doing virtual bundles, for example, it's going to be the same fees as if you were selling 2 different products or 3, however many you have in that virtual bundle. And virtual bundles also need to be their own unique ASIN. So that's why it is, more beneficial to you in general, anyways, to build that case back out yourself.
Yeah. I think your best strategy here is the quantity discounts and setting B2B pricing on your products and manage inventory, or creating a larger case pack and seeing how that scales. 100%. Oh, what a great question here, Arva. You want to learn more about Q4 strategies, how to make it more effective with your guiding insights.
We're in the thick of it right now.
What'd you say?
I said we're in the thick of it right now. Yeah. So definitely something we're pushing. Make sure that your main image is up to date, that you're following some of our CTR hacks to really improve your click-through rate, but also look at your products and see what can be giftable. Really push for some keyword research there in those product categories for the gifting season. Make sure that you've got a few relevant keywords to push there and pair that with your PPC campaigns. I've seen as much as just adding a red bow on a main image, getting people excited and thinking about gifting it. So make sure that your listings are geared towards that shopping holiday season. Set up a strategy for Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up. Pad your PPC budgets for the increased traffic. I mean, I could keep going.
What is here? Let's think about this. All amazing things, Lasch. Thank you. What is the one thing sellers cannot do with their products during this time of year?
Ship them in fast enough?
Well, let's take a step back there. They cannot run out of stock, right? So like the time was last week, everyone, to like really start strategizing how much stock you need for the remainder of the year, right? And Amazon's restock recommendation report, as basic as it is, can get you on base. We kind of take that, pull it out, manipulate a little to account for some seasonality here with the clients we work with. But aside from that, you can look at maybe last year's metrics, see which products really took off. Again, product detail page reports, also just kind of cross-referencing that with the restock recommendations that Amazon provides. More importantly, you want to make sure you are like in stock throughout the rest of the year, right? Yeah. We're about to hit November. We have about 2 months left, and November is like the time is now for gift giving season in Q4, right? This is where people are really going to start doing their Christmas shopping, their holiday shopping. And that's where we're going to see a lot of different product categories kind of spike up, increase in sales, increase in units sold, and it's going to be harder to ship in units. That's what I'm really trying to emphasize here, right? You will see FBA check-in times take
forever,
almost double what they usually do. I mean, like most cases, depending on if you're doing small parcel delivery, LTL can be a little longer just because they have to deal with that pallet. But if you're already selling thousands of units on a certain product a month, like, you need to do that in a pallet. So that's what you have to do.
And have a backup FBM listing too. If you are not getting your inventory in and you see it taking longer, and if you have the ability to ship your products out yourself, do it. Make sure that you've got a backup there, because we don't want to run out of stock. That's our number one rule at the agencies. Don't run out of stock. So you want to make sure that you're set and you've got some safeguards in place, especially if you miss that shipping window and you're not sure if those products are going to get checked in time to stay up throughout the end of the year. I would definitely recommend making a second listing for Fulfilled by Merchant and having that as your safeguard.
Yep. One thing we did not mention, Arva, which will be extremely applicable during this time. Don't know what you sell, but most categories here are going to see a rise in CPCs. PPC in general is going to be more competitive. You want to keep in mind that you really probably should start considering increasing your budgets, increasing your bids, because you don't want to lose out. Like, you could wake up in a month and just be like, man, why are my impressions down? Why is my PPC not getting as many sales as it used to do, whether it's a certain campaign or a certain target? And the biggest mistake that sellers can sometimes make there is they're not proactive at adjusting those and getting ahead of the competition with bid adjustments, bid increases, as well as just ensuring that your campaigns have enough daily budget to not go out of budget through a given day. That's the other big thing I'd kind of keep in mind here. So let's break it down into 3 simple things: stock, PPC, and obviously, like, I would almost lean on listing incentivization. Maybe it's going to be smart to run a small deal, small coupon, something to entice the customer as you're doing PPC to convert. Yep. You'll see a lot of your competitors doing that. Great question, Arva, and it was something we needed to touch on as we are heading into November. So that's perfect. Thank you. Okay, well, we're going to go to Ada, and then we're going to try to get through some more member questions, and then we'll go back up and maybe do some speed rounds here. We have about 30 minutes left here, everyone. So Ada asks, is it realistic for 2 companies to work on my account? One company dealing with one SKU and the other company, I would assume, dealing with maybe another SKU or another product. I don't see a follow-up question here. Depends how you manage it, Ada. It's sometimes we deal with that, right, Lasch? We maybe sign a client and onboard them, and they have someone else handling the PPC side of things, or maybe we only touch certain listings and certain SKUs. Is it realistic? I mean, technically, yeah. Is it difficult? It's also true. Yeah.
Well, and I don't feel like it runs as efficiently either, because when you have one team owning all of it, all portions of your strategy, et cetera, they really learn your product, and they're able to like marry that SEO and that PPC together and make sure that it's running smoothly. We do have plenty of clients that do kind of separate, et cetera, but it can be difficult to make sure that their PPC is running efficiently if we don't have the control over it. So I do recommend, like, I think it does run a little bit more smoothly if you're under one umbrella. But, you know, maybe you've got a separate brand on your account that they're running that one, and, you know, the other agency is running the other one. I don't know the specifics of the situation. So I can't say yay or nay on this one, but I definitely know if it's one brand and, you know, you're putting it all under one agency, it will run a little bit more efficiently because they're looking at all sides of it and they're working together on it.
Perfect. Ty, I am skipping your question for now, momentarily. I'm going to get through some more member questions, but I got you locked up in here at the top, and we're going to circle back to your US, Canada store approval. Rosina, hi, welcome. Reoccurring member here, always joining us. Always super awesome to attend your podcast. Love them. Well, we love you, Rosina. Thanks for joining us today. What do you got for us? So let's hear it. For my new product selling at $15, I order 1,000 pieces from China, large standard size. That's pretty large. Those fees probably aren't too friendly. When should I start looking for freight forwarders instead of DDP from factory, as I want to increase order quantity? So, Rosina, the biggest mistake I see sellers kind of make here is putting all their eggs in one basket with an example like this and ordering thousands and thousands and thousands of units when maybe they haven't even launched on Amazon yet. It's a hard thing, Rosina, because I would almost recommend, on a safer side, and that's just who I am as a person, do a small little test run, see how that product sells, and see if it's warranted to start increasing your quantity that is coming through. And when you have that, like shipping overseas from manufacturers in China, for example, is such a hassle, especially if you're going straight to Amazon fulfillment centers and you don't have a freight forwarder or you don't have a 3PL who can store your products in the US. I have worked with sellers who have thought they had everything wrapped up to ship their goods through customs and across borders, and customs held it because they didn't have the right documentation and the necessity or the required documents essentially to get through. And it's like a laundry list of like 10 different things. Typically, you do need to work with a freight forwarder on this. A customs broker is heavily recommended for these types of things. In terms of utilizing a freight forwarder, a 3PL, a warehouse here in the States, I'd recommend doing that test run and having that quantity warranted to start storing your items here. And that's going to make the check-in process easier. on Amazon side as well. Like when you just go from a warehouse in Ohio to, I don't know, Austin, Texas fulfillment center. It's easier. It's simple. Obviously not always required documents. Lasch, want to elaborate? Anything to elaborate on there?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. You just want to make sure you've got some safeguards and do your test runs. I definitely wish success for your products, and I hope everything works out. If it's an in-demand product, I don't think you're going to have a problem selling through 1,000 pieces as long as you're set up for success and optimized. But you want to make sure that logistically you're covered there. I've definitely seen the same issues where people are kind of stuck. They don't know how to, get through customs, or they don't know where to put their products. All of a sudden they can't get it to Amazon right away, etc. And time is money. And like when you're figuring things out last minute, that's when you're going to be paying the most if you don't have a framework in place. So just make sure you've got a plan in place for everything.
Yep. Excuse me. Perfect. Touchstone, any recommendations for creating and using posts? Any best practices? I got Stephen Pope's Age of Sage posts up. Let's take a look. Short answer, you should do them if you have followers. I think is probably the easiest way to kind of think about it, right? Because this is going to be pushed to those followers and shown on your brand store page. The problem here, gang, is that without a decent following, you're kind of going to see some issues of low engagement, low clicks to the store, clicks to follow. This won't be, in my opinion, Lasch, and correct me if I'm wrong, this typically isn't a needle mover by any means, but it's kind of good to keep up like with your branding here and your consistent post and promoting new products. And you get more benefit here when you have a larger brand following from what I've seen.
Agreed. Yeah, it's definitely not the biggest needle mover we see, but it's good to do it. We want to be kind of seen everywhere. So having your posts there is going to be helpful. And you don't even need, sometimes you're not even actually showing the product. You've got the link to it, but just showing a lifestyle image of someone happy, etc., can be helpful. So you don't always need to be creating all of these crazy, like intensive product focused posts. It's more just about keeping them going and hearing from the brand and having that clickable, appropriate ASIN attached to it. So,
yep, perfect. Rosina, I'm picking your question here because I can show this in 2 seconds. Can you please guide how to create coupon codes in Seller Central for my email list of clients? I don't want that discount code to show up on my PDP. I just want to enable email list buyers to benefit from it. We'll do this in 2 seconds here. You're going to hit the drop down. You're going to go to advertising. You're going to go to you need to do promotions here, don't you? You're going to do social media promo code, I think is the right one here. And then from there, this is with the influencer. So if you want to do this for an email list, let's do like % off or buy one, get one. You should be able to see this. You need to get into the claim code section here after you set up, add your products, what % you're giving off. And then you can do a single use claim code, one redemption per customer, or you can do a group claim code. This is typically what we recommend for like something like a social media channel post or an email distribution list, like you mentioned. Maybe you want to make it, you can customize this. You can only use that same one once. So be careful there, like have it locked in and don't change it essentially. And once you do that, you just need to click this little checkbox. Don't show the promotion on the detail page. You're going to be golden there. Easiest way to get around that. And yes, love the strategy there. Utilize your email distribution lists, utilize your social channels, give them a little bit of a promo for clicking through and completing that desired action. That's awesome. One more member question, and then we're going to get back to the top. You guys flooded through with questions today. We can't keep up. Okay. Q by Jawaria Noor on negating an auto when new PH phrase match started for a keyword. Okay. Isn't it true that Stephen Pope suggests do not negate a good performing keyword in auto? Yes, technically, yes. Stephen has been having those kind of posts and discussions here internally. He's been having those posts and discussions on LinkedIn. It really depends on the metrics of that KPI because you always want to add negations.
Mm-hmm.
You should constantly be negating in your campaigns. Like that is a good practice. But when you have a certain target that is exceeding expectations and performing extraordinarily well, like we kind of talked about answering Jawaria's question, it's you will see that lag when you pull it out and restart in a different campaign. It's a really fine balance. It kind of needs to be a little pick and choosy on which targets you're doing that with. So those top performers, Rosina, yes, you might want to keep those inside of your auto campaign. But this is where I kind of counter, and this is where an auto campaign is a little different. Like, you want to turn that into an exact match in a phrase match and or phrase match, right? Because you want to control that specific target, and you want to ensure that when people search that, you're going to show up and it's not just kind of being rinsed and repeated in an auto campaign where you don't have that control. Very good discussions here, Rosina, and it's not as black and white as it may seem, and that's kind of the trouble here.
Steven's definitely right, in some aspects, but there's always, special case scenarios, et cetera. And you need to be monitoring the performance and if they're doing well and test things. If you're not testing things out to see if it's going to perform better, then you're never going to know. You're never going to build them out further and grow. Yeah. So it's definitely good practice to, keep them on if it's doing really, really well. But, there's unique cases, et cetera, and you definitely want to test them out in exact so that they can get the light that they deserve and really get the budget that they need.
Yep, 100%. Okay. Touchstone, what is your opinion on changing a listings category? How could that improve position in search? Ooh, depends on your product and depends on the different categories. I could go pretty deep here, Lasch. You want to take a first stab?
Yeah, category definitely has a big effect. And we've seen where a product, like I have a client whose product got kicked out of the category that they were doing really well in. And because Amazon made a new category and felt that their product should be in that one. And now their rankings have dropped, sales have slowed, et cetera. The other category was doing way better. And was more relevant that they felt. And we've been kind of ticketing for a very long time, trying to get them switched back to the other category, showing the metrics, showing how sales have dropped. And obviously that's affecting Amazon. Show them how they're losing money and maybe they'll help you out a little bit more. So it has a big effect. And if you aren't in the right category, if you're not in the best category for you, then you might not be ranking very well, and you want to make sure that you're choosing appropriately. I'll let you take it away since you've got something up here now.
Yeah, so I always love running through this exercise with any client I work with, and it's going to come down to let's break this down. Let's put it simply, right? Let's think of a product like maybe you're selling a dog supplement, okay? And that is intentionally broad in my example here because, and this is a helium-10 extension that's kind of telling me this, you will see categories like dog multivitamins, dog probiotic supplements, dog relaxants, dog hip and joint care, multivitamins. So for something as broad as a dog supplement, which your product would be more specific than that, a decision has to be made on where you want to put this product inside of its category. And I like to go on two different avenues here, and they both go hand in hand. Applicability to the category. Mm-hmm. Where does it make the most sense? If you're selling a probiotic supplement for your dog, yeah, you might want to, it might make more sense to kind of have that rank and be inside of that dog probiotic supplements category. It's going to be more specific. It's going to be a little more niche compared to something like dog multivitamin. So I love this helium-10 plugin because I like to click into these when I have conversations with clients or even a brand manager on my team. Where should we put this new product? Yada, yada, yada. Okay, this is going to tell you the top 50, and you can even go down and make it spit out top 100 products in that category. We are looking at dog probiotic supplements, and we can compare that against dog multivitamins here. What you will see and what you will do here, compare. Again, you will know the applicability to the category, what makes the most sense. Where you want to get some data here is helium-10, use the Chrome extension. You're going to X-ray this. And what that's going to tell you is the market inside of this category. What category has more sales? What category is close related to your price that you want to sell at? Where is there more competition? Where is there more opportunity for you to sell your product? That's how I like to look at this. Not an easy answer,
nope.
But it's going to get you on the right track to make that decision. I hope that was helpful, Touchstone. have you seen any? We got to get back to the top here. We're gonna start doing some speed running, I would say. I told you, Ty, we'd get back to you. I'm not gonna let you down here. My store in US has been approved and active for months. Got the store transferred to Canada. However, they say it does not comply with their policy. Any idea there? Depends on what you're breaking from the policy. Ty, you got to go to support with that one. I just need a little more information. I'm not sure exactly what would be causing that. It's hard to say.
And Canada does have definitely higher restrictions on certain things. So that's probably where your roadblock's coming from, but we need more specifics to be able to see. And sometimes they don't always give you the specifics, which is why Tom said, go to support, see if you can find out more information. And sometimes just breaking it down, like bare minimum, skeleton, storefront, get that activated, and then start adding things back in to see what might be causing that flag.
Yep. No, yeah, you got to go with support here. And the regulations are different. You'll see something like grocery has a much harder time in Canada just due to FDA restrictions, regulations, especially if you're trying to ship from the US with an FBM order. It gets a little tricky there. Okay, let's keep going. So Lucas, hey guys, greetings from Germany. Guten Tag, Lucas. Wie geht's? Mein Deutsch ist nicht sehr gut. Nicht sehr gut.
Heading there, right, Tom?
Yeah, I'll be in Munich at the end of the year for my honeymoon. We got a week in Munich over Christmas break. Get to explore the Christmas market, which is a big thing there.
So cool.
And then we got a week in United Kingdom, Liverpool. Gonna attend a soccer game.
Oh yeah, did you get tickets?
Teams. Yeah, we got the tickets. We woke up to a heart attack yesterday because we got a notification that the game was moved, and we were like, oh shoot. We had to buy these months in advance, so it was a thing of like, if it's not while we're there, what are we going to be doing here? We're good. It was only a day pushback. New Year's Day, actually. So on the 1st, we'll be going to that Liverpool game.
Nice.
Okay, sorry, Lucas. Bit of a rabbit hole there. One of my ASINs has the wrong item type. Every change to the listing gets rejected with an 8541. I don't know that error off the top of my head. Saying the item type keyword doesn't match with Amazon's catalog. You got a ticket for this. So Amazon is thinking and telling you that your product needs to be in a certain category. And they may or may not be wrong. But this is something Amazon has a tool on this to change your item type keyword and to change your category. You can try that. Sometimes it doesn't work. Just search category change on the Seller Central help page. But a lot of times you need a ticket from this. Okay. Lucas, back to back. Current item type is office products. It's a toy. Try to change it via backend and flat file upload didn't work. Tried to change it. Category via brand registry doesn't work since listing is not live. Ticket. That's all I can say here. You can give them your batch ID and your ticket where you tried to change that. Again, I would also try to use their tool because you can say, hey, your tool's not working. And you might have some more luck there, but you got a ticket here, Lucas.
And definitely have all your backup data to show them what you've tried, et cetera, so that they can see the history of all of your attempts.
Ty wants to know if we can do a video on creating Google Ads. Not our main selling point here, Ty. We have had some experience here. I just don't even know who would make that video.
A few people maybe, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll put a good word out there, Ty.
Yeah, we will. We'll get some feelers going.
All right, Damien. Hi, I'm based in the UK. Sell across the EU with European Fulfillment Network with FBA. I've recently got a warning which says metric group, delivery speed metrics, product size tier, oversized criteria. Oh man, this is hard to follow, Damien. Criteria, glance views. I can't find out what this means and what I'm meant to do to improve this metric. This is your fulfillment metrics. Yeah, so Amazon, okay, so this is kind of like similar to, it's like, I assume it's based on the same type of KPIs that like you're ranked against on something like Seller Fulfilled Prime, right? So when you're doing pan-European or cross-European fulfillment with FBA, but you're with FBA. Let's look at this again.
Yeah. Delivery speed metrics, product size, tier, oversize.
So, I mean, he's getting an error based on performance period valuation fail. He's getting an error based on like the delivery speed, but you mentioned it was FBA, so you shouldn't control that delivery speed unless I'm missing something there.
Can you go to that last portion again?
I think I am on the last portion. You mean this one?
No, sorry. Yeah, the other one was the last portion. Performance period evaluation. Possibly that it wasn't selling through. The only thing I can think of is like sell through. Like if it wasn't selling enough, like you can't ship more. But I'm having a hard time following all of it without seeing it on the back end.
Yeah, I was gonna try to do
quick search.
Yeah, but it's not the FBA is throwing me off here.
Yeah,
because like Damien, you see like similar types of metrics you have to hit for a program like Seller Fulfilled Prime here in the US, and if you don't, Amazon says nope, you're out of the program. Again, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. That's what your error message like leads me to believe is it's something with the delivery metrics, but you said it was FBA, so that's kind of throwing me off.
Or if there's an issue with like the packaging or Amazon being able to deliver it somehow. That's my only other thought, but ticket. I would ask for some clarity from support.
Agreed. Very much agreed here. I thought I had a Age of Sage listing up. So what have you guys seen in terms of increase in CVR sales when doing regular versus premium A+ content? I know it's bigger, more modules, but are the sellers seeing a positive correlation? Great question. I would say A/B test it. It's not always similar between different product types, different types of sellers. It's not that clear cut and dry. Now, I like to take the stance, me personally, maybe others don't agree. Premium looks cleaner. I think it gives your brand more authority. We also have, this is what I wanted to show. We have the new, what did we find with Premium A+ content over the weekend, last weekend?
Add to carts are now in your product grid, along with your star rating reviews. So that's a huge, huge selling point, in my opinion, because then people can easily just add another one of your products to their cart. You can get multiple products added in quickly. It's less clicks. It's less, time for the customer to have to get to that other page. If they see a complimentary product or they want to, for example, for Age of Sage and the soaps, if they want to try out a couple different scents, like boom, boom, boom.
So digital marketer in me, I love this because this is less steps, less steps for a desired action, like getting a sale, using the comparison chart to cross-link, interlink your products. Instead of doing something like that where I can go to that product detail page, I'll just add it to cart. Love it. I love it. So point is here, Jaleel, you should A/B test that 100%. It's different. Ooh, Dylan's combating our negation conversations here. That's okay, Dylan. I wouldn't recommend negating converting keywords in an auto campaign because a lot of times the bid is cheaper for the conversion. Keep it in the auto campaign and promote to exact or phrase. Yeah, fair. You could.
Totally fair.
Keeping it in both still gives you the ability to like push harder on that. But like, okay, if you put it in an exact and maybe you want to push harder, get more impressions, overtake the competition and market share on that search term, it's already going to cannibalize that auto target to begin with, in my opinion. Again, second time circling back in this, not so clear cut, black and white, in my opinion.
But like I said, watch what's happening with them and seeing what's working for you. You just got to be very heavily involved in your campaigns. You should never just set them and forget them. So that's advice I can give.
Yeah. Ada, I noticed a lot of products on Amazon now selling on TikTok at extraordinary prices, i.e. something selling on Amazon for $20 can be $2 from China with shipping. So this doesn't surprise me. I know TikTok's fees are lower, which would mean that sellers don't have to hike up their prices to deal with fees as much. The fee is more minimal compared to what you see on Amazon. Ada, this is good though. Not a trend I've like actively looked into and seen, but that doesn't really surprise me, especially as new sellers are trying to get on there and launch and push their products on TikTok Shop.
Yeah, I'm wondering about getting buy box taken away. I don't know if Amazon's kind of able to troll products on TikTok Shop yet. Yeah. Because I know they'll look at other marketplaces and make sure that you're priced the lowest on Amazon or equal pricing, etc. So if they're priced way lower on TikTok, it may not be that they are catching those lower prices yet. So that could affect their Amazon listings.
Parker, does the Amazon seller support really work over the weekend? I wouldn't put my my money on it. I wouldn't.
You might be getting a bot responding to
Parker, most of the first cases you make are going to be responded to by a bot, and then you got to push harder. Say that your issue is not resolved, and then maybe 3 tickets down the line, you get a real person helping you out. It's not a good system. It's clearly not a good system. People complain about it. People don't like it. Obviously, I know through a couple of the Amazon conferences this year, they were making heavy strides to fix their support and not have issues like bots constantly respond. Yeah, fingers crossed, heavy fingers crossed there. I'm not holding my breath there. Ron, you should still open a case on the weekend so it gets resolved, but I wouldn't. Yeah. I'm sorry. Support sucks is what it comes down to. Oh, man. Okay, let's keep going. Got about 4 more minutes here. Is there a best day of the week and time of day to launch a new product? Should I wait for Amazon to approve my EBC before launching?
I would say get a fully optimized listing before launching if you can. Obviously, if you can't get to A+ right away, it is what it is. You know, if you need to get it selling, obviously get it up. Make sure your image stack is up there, that you've got your fully optimized copy, etc. But ideally, you should have some A+ on there. You know, we like to see a fully flushed out listing, but it's not the do or die situation. But yes, I would say best practice would be to have it up.
Perfect. Oh, and a little agency question. My agency guy, I have a client with 50 ASINs, which I offered a monthly fee of 3,000 euros, but they asked for a price of 1,000 euros. Is that realistic for full account management? If it's profitable for you, probably not.
I don't feel like that would be profitable, but it depends on what you're kind of offering. Are you offering creative? Are you offering, you know, is it mainly just catalog management? We definitely need to know more of the specifics, but look at your profitability. Seems a little bit low, but depends on what you're offering too. So.
Yep. Agreed. Go to Stephen Pope, my agency guy. Misha, thank you, Misha, for the kind words. I appreciate you. Tune in next week. I'll be back. Rosina, we got your questions. We got you covered. We hit a lot of them today. Stephen J, when you talked about TikTok ads, can any account advertise on TikTok, or you need a TikTok ads account? You need to set up a TikTok ads account, but you can do that without setting up like a TikTok shop account. It's very simple. Just make a TikTok account, connect it to a business account, make an advertising account. Very simple process. You can do it in 30 minutes. Okay, man, we are getting to the tail end here. Any tips on repricing FBM for buy box? Any quick tips there?
Just make sure that you're priced low, but if you have an FBA listing, that's always going to win out.
Yep. Garrett, I'm sorry, we're not going to have time for a listing review here. I do want to touch on my, yeah, thanks, Lucas. Yeah, dude, we're so pumped for the Christmas markets in Munich. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a real good time. Do you still get accurate results when running multiple experiments through manage experiments? I go either way on
the same ASIN. You can't do it on the same ASIN because obviously that would affect skew your results, and you don't know what is actually increasing change or anything like that. So
if it's the same ASIN, you should be doing one at a time. I didn't know if you were taking that just like, oh, I'm doing a test on this ASIN and a different test on this ASIN. Like, in general, I'm not. If you see immediate value with a new image you changed, or something like premium A+ content versus A+ content, I'm a believer in go live. There are things you do want to A/B test. I'm not saying it's not warranted here, but when it's a clear night and day difference, like this main image to that one, we're really pushing main image CTR improvements here the last couple of weeks. You guys heard us last week on that. I wouldn't A/B test that. Go live. Yeah. Go live, baby. Get it in the market.
We don't need to test that one. But if it's something about like rearranging where you've got a placement of certain keywords in a title to see which one's going to convert better for you, I would maybe suggest that to get some data behind it. But if you're doing like a full update on a title and your title was pretty basic before and you're just adding in a bunch of really highly relevant, search terms in there, go live. Don't A/B test that. Unless you see some sort of like drop from the shorter title, then I would try to see what's actually moving the needle there.
Gang, it is 1:30 p.m. EST. That is all the time we have for today. But Lasch, what else do we do? What else we got going on here?
What do you mean? Oh, in terms of the agency.
Now, let's look at our website. What can we offer some people?
We are always hiring for internships, for regular positions. I started as an Amazon specialist, and I'm now a director, and that growth happened very fast. So if you're looking to boost your career and make a lot of friends and connections and learn a ton, join the company, apply. We want you here. We love Amazon lovers.
Number one, the heart and soul of my Amazon guys, we are a knowledge sharing and a learning company. We take in many employees who have zero experience on Amazon, zero experience on Seller Central, and we spend time with them and we work with them and we grow them, because this is not something you can learn anywhere else. That's why you see videos on YouTube every single day. So yes, we are actively hiring. If you have no experience, come join us. We'd love to work with you. We'd love to train you and get you up to speed here so you can help other sellers and grow your own knowledge expansion on Amazon Seller Central. Maybe you want to work with someone like Kristen, Lasch, or myself in our full service management capacity. We'd love to have you. You can fill out a form on our website. We do it all. PPC, catalog, creative, design.
Coaching calls.
Coaching calls. We could do a quick coaching calls plug. If you to have some one-on-one time with someone like Lasch, myself, throwing back Jason, maybe Marissa Lindsay, maybe Faith, Joseph. Our images are not populating. This doesn't look too good right now. Let's give it a refresh.
We are all blue circles here at Matt.
Blue circles. If you guys want to spend some extra one-on-one time with us and focus on growth strategy, troubleshooting issues, we got our own specialties here. Check us out. Book some time with us. We'd love to give you that time, and check out our SOPs, our courses.
Check out our
again. Courses. Yeah, go ahead, Lasch, take it.
I was going to say, we've got a lot of project orders that you can do as well if you're looking to do some quick main image updates before the holiday season. Go ahead, click on our website. If you want to click on that page, Tom, to get us over there. But that's something we can knock out for you. We've got an amazing graphic design team here, and we can really get your listings holiday shopping ready to make sure that you're going to have the best chance of conversion and have a really good selling season.
Fake Mark Cuban, anytime. Launch a product anytime. No certain best day of the week. Get that product optimized and launch as soon as possible so you can start getting sales. Everyone, that is all the time we have today. My name is Tom Fitzgibbons. Thank you so much, Kristen, Lasch, for joining me this week. It was a pleasure having you. We need to do this more often.
Definitely. I'll be back, guys. Thanks, Tom, for having me. This was awesome.
Of course. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend, and tune in next week to the weekly Friday AMA.